Amazing. So I thought I'd start off with the Central Manchester gang. So Anne Walker from Amnesty International, would you be happy to share with us your feast plans? Oh, if you just want to unmute yourself, if that's okay.
Okay. How many times have I done that? Right.
We're a year late and we're still getting there.
Right. I'm a member of the Manchester group of Amnesty International. So we're just, a group of volunteers that get involved in Amnesty's campaigns. And we thought we'd like the opportunity to meet other people in Manchester who do similar sort of campaigning. And we've got together with the Oxfam campaigns group and Whalley Range Peace and Justice group. And so we're collaborating with them at the moment. We have worked with those groups in the past, but we've never met each other face to face. And this would be a really nice opportunity. But we plan to invite lots of other similar groups like Freedom from Torture, Palestinian Solidarity. Those, we're making a list at the moment. We can only, we're working with Central Manchester, Central Library. They volunteered to host it. And it's going to be September the 18th, because that's when they've got facilities available. We were trying to talk to People's History Museum, because we thought that would be an ideal venue for it, but they don't seem to be engaged with the Ripples of Hope. We weren't getting anywhere, so we're sticking with Central Library. Okay, so what are your plans for your piece? As far as food's goes, well, we've started dialogue with Open Kitchen, who are an ethical catering company that use waste food and ethically sourced food. So if there's any waste food going, they could probably use it. But we've had difficulties because we started the conversation, we're just getting somewhere, and the person who dealt with bookings has left the company. So we're starting again. But one of our collaborators actually works as a volunteer for Open Kitchens. So we've got a sort of personal contact with them. How do we plan to discuss human rights? Well, what we'd like to do, I mean, we plan to invite, we're not sure how many groups yet, we can only seat 36 people. So we're thinking maybe 8 different groups, and we want to introduce ourselves to each other, find out what we're campaigning on at the moment, and discuss maybe areas for collaboration. And we want to decorate the room with people's banners and posters and stuff, so we can see what each other's got as well. And how can people get involved in our feast? It's going to be very much, I think, invitation, just because it's limited numbers, and we've got lots of different groups on the list at the moment we'd like to invite. We can't invite everybody. We'll see.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing about your feast. And I know you said that, you're really keen on getting all the different campaign groups together and about possibly collaborating in the future. So do you think that your kind of feast will kind of lead to like a kind of long-term collaboration, or be able to open up different opportunities?
I hope it will lead to some long-term collaboration. I think it would just really help if we knew each other better. and you know, knew what our strengths and weaknesses were, and so we could support each other more.
Definitely. I think that's such an important thing to come from the feast as well, and something that's really important to take away with it, especially when we're talking about campaigning for human rights as well. So I think that's lovely, especially after a year of nobody being able to meet as well.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So I'm going to go to, is Paula in here? Paula, I'm going to go to you next, if that's okay.
I am. I knew you were going to do that. I'm trying to find my notes whilst. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Yeah. Let me just quickly. Oh, I'll just remember it. So we seem to be sort of going in fits and starts, really. I've met with Rethink Rebuild. So they're the Syrian advocacy group in Longsight. And they're keen to get involved, and also Celebrating Syria, which is kind of an offshoot of that. They are another woman from Let's Keep Growing, and also she has a group in Ardwick from the what they called, one of the local churches. It's the sort of kind of an empowerment group. I can't quite remember the name of her group. So we've all met and we've talked about what we think should be in the feast, and just what kinds of things we're trying to kind of do, whether it should be celebratory, whether it's more about sort of discussion. And there's a bit of a mix so far. And there's some other groups that I'm still trying to get a hold of. So YIN are on my list, and the Bengali Women's Organisation, and there's also a Bengali Saturday School. And so these are all people that we work with, the library's worked with quite a lot. So for us, we're kind of using it a bit as a trying to open up that kind of engagement again after a year and a half of only doing some, you know, kind of online stuff with them every now and then. Also, Liz from City of Sanctuary, who is going to be organising her own feast. We did talk about whether we should join together, but we kind of realised that it wasn't going to quite work. However, we are going to each other's feasts as well. So she will be coming to ours, and we've worked quite a lot with sanctuary seekers in the library, so we will be inviting some of those people as well. Just as a note, in case you don't know, Manchester Libraries now have just recently been awarded, all of our libraries are libraries of sanctuary, so that's great. So that's kind of who we're going to have. It's going to be invite only, and again, we're a bit caught in space. Oh, the other person that I'm meeting with next week is Emma Martin from Stanley Grove Primary School. So she's a local artist. No, she's a Manchester artist who works full-time with Stanley Grove Primary School. So we've come together on loads of different projects. So we'll sort of see what comes out of that. And I think what we're looking for possibly with that is that maybe, depending on timing, because it doesn't quite work timing-wise, is whether we might get some of the school doing the kind of decorating. So they often decorate the library for big events. So that's who we're collaborating with, and it's still a bit of an ongoing thing. Our plans for the feast, I think we are going to go, I think, with a bento box style feast, and hoping that Women's Voices are also one of our collaborators as well, our partnerships. So we're going to commission them to provide the food. We'll buy a whole load of bento boxes, and those will be packed. It will be like finger food, and hopefully kind of in, you know, like a starter, main, and a dessert as well. My only kind of issue is that I've just recently spoken with Nadia, and her mum is incredibly poorly and lives on the other side of the world. So she's going to kind of disappear. So I am a little bit kind of like, that might have an impact on whether we can go with them or not, depending on what happens for her. So I could do with if anyone's got any kind of ideas about a backup in case we need to, that would be great. My preference is definitely to go with her because they have a catering company that employs mostly kind of refugee women to cook. So that would be my preference, to go with them. And how do you plan to discuss human rights? So the kinds of things that we've been talking about is, we've got a kind of another project that we're doing it's been tacked into this project, so that we're doing as a bit of a lead up, where it's a kind of multilingual project, and it was supposed to happen over a year ago, and then obviously, you know, things kind of happened and it didn't. So we're on a bit of a deadline with that. So we're sort of trying to combine it a bit, and we're hoping to work with about 10 people from a multilingual background. It's a multilingual project. And we're going to be looking at, so I want to sort of combine making decorations with talking about multilingual stuff and looking at how we can make the decorations with human rights in mind. So that might be, you know, that we create bunting with slogans in different languages, or it might be banners or that kind of thing. But one of the things that came out of that was, we were talking about, when I was trying to plan those sessions, was people, music. So we were kind of thinking that all the people that we worked with, so those 10 people will be invited to the feast, as well as the different organisations and some of their participants. But everybody who's invited will be invited to send us one or two of their songs that mean a lot to them in terms of kind of their sort of heritage and human rights and that kind of thing. So the idea is that we'll put a playlist together, and everybody will write a bit about why that is important to them, and that will be shared as part of the feast. And what I would like is everybody to be able to go away with being able to access that on Spotify or something like that. The other thing that we talked about was to ask people what was the one human right that they absolutely could not, if you were only allowed to have one human right in the world, what would that be? So we might go along that as a kind of topic, as a conversation sort of starter. And we've also talked with some of the organisers, really happy to kind of get up and do a bit of a, 5 or 10 minute talk about their experience of human rights. So Hulme and Mustafa, who are both Syrian refugees, they're more than happy to kind of do that. And I think Nadia, if she's here, will definitely find some of the women that she works with to do that as well. So that's all just kind of growing, really, and it's a bit unformed, but that's as far as we've got. And how can people get involved in your feast? If they give me lots of ideas about who I can use as a backup food-wise if I need. Again, ours is invited, but I'm at this point, I'm really unsure about what our numbers is actually going to be. So, if somebody's got a burning desire to, or has people in the Longsight area that they want to kind of, head towards our feast, then I'm more than happy to kind of look at that if that's possible. So that's us, really.
Amazing, thank you. I love all the different ideas, especially the kind of open playlist for people to share the songs. It adds a really nice personal touch to it, which I think is, everything from the kind of language on the banners to the music is just, it's really nice touch. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, the one bit I forgot to tell you is our bento boxes will have messages as well to each other. So as people unpack them, they will be given messages to read. So
do you have a one human right which you would pick as your
own? Oh my God, no. I've just been having all these conversations about how on earth do you pick that? So no, I don't at the moment. I will try and share in the chat, actually. I did come across some really good resources from a youth network, I think based in America, that's got all the kind of 30 human rights articles with a whole load of posters and things. People might find those useful, so I'll pop that in the chat.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great resource for everyone. And if anyone has any ideas that spring to mind whilst people are speaking about different resources they've come across, or something that you think could really help each other. For example, the food backup. So I'll put in the chat all our food networks, which are also in our Feasters toolkit as well. So you've got access to them as well.
Great, lovely.
Amazing. So I'm going to go next to the team at MMU. So Josie and Halle from Munch.
Hiya. I'm Josie, Community Engagement Manager at Manchester Met. Halle, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Hulme. I'm a senior lecturer in nutritional sciences and also the founder of a social enterprise based at MMU called Munch. We focus on nutrition, sustainability and wellness, mostly working with the students and community.
Yeah, great. So we're both here together just to chip in. I think that we're in a slightly different place where we haven't got a date or like that we're definitely going to be able to do a feast. I think because of the way the university works in terms of responding to government guidance, we just need to see about the feasibility of that. So we really want to do something in September. We've got loads of great ideas and we're looking to reach out to our closest neighbours and partners in Hulme. So there's loads of great opportunities there. But we've started a couple of things that we've got some internal funding for to do over the summer leading up to September, which is great. So following on from meeting Halle and a few other colleagues from the university had with Ella and Rachel a couple of weeks ago. So Halle can talk in more detail and about the projects, but essentially we're looking to create a level 2 hygiene resource so that feasters and different groups who are incorporating food into their projects and obviously the feasts can use this resource. So that's something that's really great that we can bring to the table and hopefully will have a lasting legacy beyond the festival itself. So we know over the last year that food's been such a great connector and loads of great projects have come up, and that it's often something that our students incorporate into their work as well. So we're really hoping that this tool will bring benefit to lots of different people. And Halle's approached it with her normal creativity and enthusiasm. So I'll let you talk about it a bit more, Halle.
Thank you, Josie. Yes, we met, a wonderful group of people as well as our academics, and obviously, kind of being a nutritional scientist, and food is the tool of connection and emotions, and we haven't seen anyone for 18 months. So one of the suggestions was to actually come up with Pies of Manchester. So thankfully, Josie has now secured some funding, and 2 of our students are going to be going into our special collections in the library, which is on the top floor. And we have books from 1700s and some of the books from the Vegetarian Society and, kind of local cooking and recipes, and it's amazing. And I'm sure Josie will be able to tell everyone how amazing it is. But it doesn't get used as much as it should. And we think for the, kind of ripples of hope, it should get used and highlighted and shared on social media and on so many different channels. But obviously social media seems to be the one that we've been using a lot more, kind of in the last 18 months. And tomorrow we will know which students have applied. So we had to work very quickly, advertise the job last week. It will be, kind of tomorrow is the shortlisting, and the students will be getting on with the research. Obviously, as a university, we are going to be tapping into the skills that obviously we are good at. So skills, kind of research is one of them, and creating educational resources to really kind of like make people come together will be a way forward. And I really loved Maria's idea last time, which was the breaking bread. So we're going to be looking at some traditional breads and see if we can actually bring that into the conversation as well. So, kind of, my brief had pies and bread. So carbohydrate rich with pies and bread. But it's the type of things that people love, and it's comfort, and it's it's kind of, you know, the basics. I always kind of like know that, you know, if you have got nothing in the house, you go and get bread and milk. So I think that that basic human, you know, kind of like necessity, the bread, is a lovely thing to do as well. So maybe we will have 2 feasts, but I will let Josie decide on that. But we think that, you know, obviously university, with everything that's been happening, the students are not on site, and August is quite a quiet time. So I think September is a great time to bring everyone together. So we've got this idea of a multicultural kind of like edible art exhibition, where we will have a local illustrator who has actually been working with us last year, focusing on student food poverty, which is kind of like is a major problem. I've been part of a research project that looked at 3,700 students from across the country, and about 58% of them have actually gone without food and had lost jobs in the hospitality sector. So I think in reply to that question of, you know, kind of how do you discuss to look at human rights, I want to look at, you know, kind of food as the basics of human right kind of thing. And I want food insecurity and malnutrition to be highlighted. And I would really like our work to celebrate the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of 1 to 4, which is, you know, kind of obviously really important for our curriculum, really important for our sustainability, being a you know, a number 2 university, usually kind of like hovering around 1 and 2. We want to look at no poverty, the 0 hunger, good health and well-being, and quality education. I always think that those 4 are the main kind of like sustainable development goals that university and what I do is all about. So we want to kind of mix that into whatever we're going to be doing. So and obviously the level 2 kind of resource toolkit that we're going to create with food hygiene is to really take food hygiene from the really boring corporate I don't know, kind of wash your hands, you know, cross-contamination, into something that's really educational, but also quite fun and organized by people who know and work within the community and within everyone's kitchen. So it actually is relatable to everyone. And I'm sure, you know, kind of Rachel, you know, kind of, I think originally when we had a chat, I think that was something that you were thinking about. And it again, is that kind of resource where, you know, kind of we could use it for any pop-up activity, for Manchester Food Festival, you know, kind of for any charities that would want to use it, and actually anybody who wants to just kind of, I don't know, cook food in the kitchen and bring it to a community setup and a picnic. So there's a lot of ideas, and I was fortunate that Josie just went in and negotiated, and we can actually make sure that whoever works with us is paid and is happy, and a student's feedback has been extremely positive. They are very excited about this. So I think our population that we want to engage with is, you know, kind of our own students, which is a very multicultural kind of community, but also we want to bring in lots of recipes from around the world because of the students, but also I would really like Manchester community to forward all their secret pies recipes or anything else that you know kind of anybody has got. So I don't know if the library or other, you know, fantastic people in this room can help us. Can we get everyone? I don't know. Obviously, if it's a secret, they might not tell us. But, you know, I don't know. You guys look very persuasive and fabulous. So, you know, if you could do that, that would be amazing. But I think that's enough from me. I don't want to, you know, kind of just take over with lots of creativity. But yeah, we are very excited. And you will get 100% from me and obviously Manchester Metropolitan Group, you know, and we definitely want to invite as many people as we can, depending on, you know, obviously government guidelines and health and safety measures that we have to put in place.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I might share with you my curried paneer pie if I'm feeling nice. But it's great, and I think it's amazing how you're thinking about creating resources that last not just your feast and further feasters here, but also afterwards, and how that can have implications for anyone kind of organising community fees, because we know food brings us all together and makes people stay longer as well at your event for sure. So one of the questions I just wanted to ask is, how will the feasters be able to access your amazing level 2 food and hygiene resource?
Well, kind of at the moment, we are at the earliest stages of developing it with the animation artist and illustrators. And obviously once it's finished, and obviously we tested it, we've got microbiologists to make sure that everything is, kind of like as it should be. We will be able to email it to everyone, or kind of put it on a platform for everyone to download. I'm sure kind of like we can even put it onto Munch platform, or the I don't know, Ripples of Hope platform. It will be accessible, and of course we've got our experts in video and kind of digital kind of interactive communication, kind of I don't know, tools, and I will be talking to them to make sure that everyone with whatever basic kind of I don't know, tools that they've got will be able to access them. So and this is something that we had to deal with right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, that kind of digital poverty was an issue that we had to highlight. So we will not be using anything that needs only Mac or some kind of a special tool to download. So and we will, I'm sure Josie is nodding, but we will not be hiding it behind a firewall or anything. It will have Creative Commons, a license, and it will be downloadable for everyone. I think we would like it to be a community resource for everyone, not only for Manchester but beyond Manchester as well.
Great. And Josie, can you tell us a bit about how where people can go find the special collections at MMU if they're looking to use that local resource?
Yeah, so the special collections is part of our main library, so it's on campus, but it's kind of tried to rebrand itself in the last couple of years as special collections and museums. So it does have public exhibitions. So what I'll do is I'll just, while we're chatting, I'll dig out the link and put it in the chat, because I'm not quite, normally you can just go in, but I'm not sure about the latest guidance if you need to book. So I'll just look into that and then put it in the chat.
Okay, and Halle, where would you like us to send all of our secret pie and bread recipes to?
Could they please be emailed to me? But I will I can create a special email so that it doesn't kind of, I don't lose it among my inbox. And I will set up like a Gmail account so that everything can go into one place. And I think I will let you know. I can actually just set it up as we are all talking, so that you can actually start sending it to me. And I will be able to then, kind of pass it on to the students who are putting it together. I think this will be amazing. And actually, who knows, we might even be able to do a sort of Ripples of Hope recipe book. Yeah. But Josie doesn't even know that I've already been thinking about that. That could be later on. But
and I think it's great you guys are thinking about the social media as well, and sharing all your work and ways to make it more accessible as well, which is one of the things we want to be talking to feasters about later, is about sharing all the amazing work you're doing as well. So yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Josie and Halle. Great. So next up, I'm going to go to Shelley Shine from Stockport Libraries. Oh, Shelley, please.
Sorry, I seem to be the world's worst unmuter. And I've got so it's just getting chaotic here. I'll apologise ahead of time. I've got a bit of a dodgy internet connection, so I'm hoping that you can hear me. So who are we collaborating with? So Stockport Library so far, the Vicar at St George's supports asylum seekers and people with disabilities. So she's bringing some people. I've been sending out sort of emails to a lot of community groups in Stockport that I've worked with in the past. So we've also got Nadia is a community worker, and she's hoping to bring some people from some of our priority one more deprived areas in Stockport. She's got 5 of her contacts coming to the feast with us. We've got people from Disability Stockport cooking and joining us as well. I'm hoping that Maureen, who is head of the Sianda Trust, might add an African Caribbean slant to things. And right, we're unfrozen. I'm having a chat with Sexton 3 at the moment, so I am a work in progress, as somebody said before. There's still people getting back to me, and some of the library staff as well have offered to do recipes. So my vision is that people from all walks of life and all different cultures and backgrounds will bring a dish that is special to them. So we are at the planning stages at the moment, so I'm not quite sure what dishes we've got, but it sounds hopeful that we might be wandering around the world in our dishes, and that they will share a little bit of history about why that dish is special to them. So that's going to be part of one of the main themes of our event. And also the people that are coming, quite a few of the people coming have had their human rights negatively affected. So they're happy to share their stories with us about how their human rights have been negatively affected. So we're hopefully going to learn sort of more about each other through that. Once we have done our food and stories, we want to do a couple of creative crafts together. So poetry is the theme of the main festival, so I am hoping there might be some words in there, sort of some use of language, but I also want to do just a more creative craft in case we do have people sort of who are ESOL and English isn't their first language, so that they don't feel that they can't contribute fully. So and it's happening at Disability Stockport, which is very kind of them, because we haven't really got any kitchens attached to our community spaces in libraries. So Disability Stockport have got a lovely big room with a kitchen, well, 2 kitchens to the sides. So we are going to base it there. At the moment, it's a fairly open invite, but I am emailing people and trying to get an idea of numbers and
Oh, I think you're frozen again there.
idea of numbers and commit that. Food-wise, so can't hear anything.
Sorry, do you want to say that last bit again? I think it just froze, so I think you just snagged out then.
So sorry, which bit did I get up to?
So we got up to kind of Disability Stockport for providing you guys the space and how it was an open invite, and trying to gather a bit more about numbers after you've spoken about the crafts.
Yes, so the room can take up to about 50 or 60 people. So I've just been emailing my community groups and still getting an idea of numbers back. So we can work up to 50 or 60. At the moment, we're probably around about 15 or 20. And if it stays like that, I'm quite happy with that. But we can sort of welcome more people if they are available and interested in coming.
Amazing. Thank you so much for telling us about your feast, and I love how you kind of incorporate in the workshops throughout the day, and how you're telling the story again through food, and how you've got an opportunity for people to listen to individuals' experiences who have had their human rights directly affected as well. So I think it's going to be a really powerful event.
Yeah, hopefully we want it to be quite a relaxed vibe, not too sort of teaching or sort of. So we're hoping that is a very sort of open and friendly environment for people to share.
Yeah, it seems as well that, you know, thinking about accessibility as well as being really key. Is there any top tips you could give to anyone for example, kind of, you know, doing the craft sessions, thinking about individuals whose first language might not be English or might not be at a high level? How do you go around that with your crafts, and is there any tips you can give anyone?
We usually just go to make life easy. We go with quite a simple craft, but definitely something you can take away. So one of my crafts, I'm thinking about making seed paper, and that has the eco element as well, which I do love. So we could use recycled paper, and then you can use flour and water to stick your seeds on, and hopefully they can go away with that and maybe grow something, and the feast continues afterwards in a way. And we always have instructions there. In our craft tables, we have somebody in charge of that craft table, so that there's somebody keeping an eye and able to show people how to do things if language might be a barrier.
Yeah, I think it's great to think about things that people can take away to, you know, remind themselves of the event, or, you know, something that could keep growing afterwards. So I think it's really a lovely idea, and bringing in that idea of kind of sustainability as well, and, you know, what we can use around us. Great.
Yeah, all for trying to be as green as possible.
Amazing. So
I don't think the team's here, but
no. So we'll go to Sammy next, if that's okay.
I'm going to be dead honest, I've got no plans at all. Apart from feeding everybody. I've been through a lot this last week. My chef's handed his notice in, he's leaving on Friday, and I'm literally running a business, working as a counsellor, raising 4 kids, and doing far too much on my own. Some of the ideas that I did have was around, I mean, we had an MEP, a member of the European Parliament, Julie Ward, for the Northwest, and she did a lot on human rights. So I'm trying to contact her currently. She's a good friend. So I want to see if she'll come and be a speaker at the event. So that was one I had. I'm also looking at working with a lot of different communities across the city, so that we can all bring a little bit of our own cultures to the feast. I've got my current kitchen, so we're in the process of doing a second kitchen at my unit. When that second kitchen's up and running, we can have more people in, so they can all prepare everything at the unit. But that's as far as I've got, because I've just got far too much going on.
that is completely understandable, and also because of all the restrictions stopping and starting, it's very hard to visualize the feast. So that's amazing what you've got so far.
Yeah, and I just say that to everyone. I know I had a couple of emails last week being like, oh, I've not planned anything, but I'm really excited. I kind of, you know, it's been very difficult, I think, for everyone to think as far as heading September, when I think everyone's so used to living by the week, and it's, you know, we've kind of got everyone at all these different spectrums at different ends, where, you know, some people have already kind of started making stuff. Everyone's quite, like, you know, at the idea stage at the moment, and some people are still making those connections. So whatever stage you're at, it's completely fine and normal. We know that so many of you could literally pull it out with a day's notice. So it's amazing just to kind of see what your ideas are as we kind of.
Yeah. Well, a lot of concentration recently has been on Salford Pride, because I'm one of the trustees of Salford Pride. So I've got a lot going on with that as well. I'm also hoping to try and tap into, I forgot the name of them, Walk the Plank.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
So they're around the corner from me. I know they've been involved in a lot of conversation with you guys. So I'm trying to see if I can link up with them. One of the other councillors in Salford is on now. Wilson, and I'm hoping, because he works with a lot of the refugees, I'm hoping to bring that on board as well to work with. So realistically, if a few of us come together, we could probably increase the amount of people that we're feeding and that we get involved and do a bit more of an event.
There's also Maria from Salford, Anne-Marie from Salford CVS. She wanted to help restart the Salford Feast conversation going again too, so I'll put you an email.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I do a lot of work with Salford CVS as well, so
fantastic.
It's just like I said, with my chef leaving, everything's in the air, because I'm jumping back in the kitchen after not working in catering for 20 years. The catering company, I'm back in the kitchen. So I've been getting all my hygiene back up to date, and I've just finished my level 3. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I've just sent you a text. I might be able to help you with chefing. So
amazing, thank you. Well, it might be a good idea to go next to Wilson. Are you all right to tell us a bit about your work in Salford as well?
Yeah, I'm very sorry I haven't done much as well. I missed so many meetings. I'm very sorry about that. I haven't planned anything, to be honest. We had some plans before the pandemic, but it has been difficult because the profile of the people that we work with, refugees and asylum seekers, they find it very difficult to connect on Zoom. But we do keep contact with on one-to-one basis. But as coming together as a group has been very difficult. But it looks that things are getting better now in terms of restrictions. And I do welcome my fellow councillor, Sami. So we might be able to pull something together. I will have a conversation with Sami and see how we can pull something together.
Amazing. Well, I'm hoping that you guys being able to listen to all the amazing ideas from all the other feasters is giving you guys a bit of inspiration as well, and also some links to some great resources as well, which might help you guys as well.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I might come to Bernard next, if that's okay. Bernard, do you want to tell us about why you're interested in getting involved in a feast?
That'd be me.
The one, the only.
I like the sense of community and community coming together, but I also like the timing of the event, that it should coincide with the relaxing of restrictions that we've all been faced with over the last 18 months. So it promises to be quite a spectacular event in a small way. You've also suggested that I should speak to Steve Beale down at the Ascension, and I think that would be useful from a community perspective. I mean, my principal role in this area in Hulme is as community leader, and I feel that that's something that really should be explored and expanded on as we come out of COVID, assuming that we are coming out of COVID. So I fancy having a chat with Steve Beale. I know he's got space, but I also know that he hasn't got a kitchen. So, and I also know that yourselves over at Tap House are likely to be quite busy. So I might take myself over to MMU and talk to Josie and Haya about what resources might be available to share there. I did hear something in the conversation earlier about working together with local partners. So there's a conversation for me to have with those two people. I'll take Steve. Steve's not with us tonight, but I will catch up with him shortly and see where that conversation goes.
Yeah, there's also Dan from Gaskell Garden Project who was going to support Steve, and now he's just got back to me today about the kind of kitchen. So I think it'd be great to kind of link everyone together in that conversation. With Dan, yeah. But also I think it's, like I said, worth connecting with the team at MMU as well.
Yeah, working together works for me.
Amazing. Great. So I'm going to go to Time to Read next, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, it says Time to Read, but I'm from Bolton Libraries. I'm using the I didn't realise until I saw it on screen that it was too late to change it. But yeah, I'm from Bolton Libraries, and we've got our event planned for the 18th of September. We're working with a number of groups in Bolton, the City of Sanctuary, because there's also a City of Sanctuary music event on in the afternoon. We thought it would be a good collaboration. The Britannia Rumba, a Congolese band, so they're doing 2 sessions. So the people who are invited for the Feast of Hope will also be invited for the first session of music. Then the second session will be open to the public. We're also working with Precious Gems. They run a number of groups, including asylum seeker and refugee groups. We're working with Brass, again, the asylum seeker and refugee group, and Bolton Destitution Project. So that's who we're collaborating with. Plan for the feast, we're getting a caterer in. So she's going to be doing recipes of the different countries like the Congo, Pakistan, Iran, India. I did speak to one of the groups, and because of the language barriers, some of the ladies weren't too confident in giving the recipes. So I said we could just do general recipes from the country if we can't get actual recipes. So the caterer's going to do that. She's going to bring the food in, and also she's going to do a couple of quick demonstrations as well. So that'll be quite good. It's going to be in the library, and all the recipes we're planning to put together into a booklet for people to take away on the day, and we're going to obviously have a display afterwards in the library for people to take away the recipes, and then they can cook at home. You know, it's a way of sharing, getting to know each other's culture in Bolton. I thought we could put some like traditional Lancashire recipes in there as well. So if any, you know, of the other communities want to try Lancashire recipes. We've just been awarded the Library Sanctuary Award, so that's going to be presented on the day, on the 18th of September, so that'll be nice. Oh yeah, we've provided Precious Gems. There's about 15 ladies, refugee and asylum seekers. We've provided them with packs to make tablecloths for, well, they're not going to make the tablecloths, we've provided the tablecloths, but they're going to decorate them. So we've provided lots of different coloured threads, needles, etc., hoops. So they're well on the way with decorating those, and they're really enjoying it. So they're going to be on the tables on the day, and then we may have a display, but they'll be able to take those away with them. What else? We're looking to maybe 35 to 40 people, because it's going to be in the library, so we can't have it too big, because the library will be open on that day as well. But it will be nice, because library users will be able to see what's going on. You know, maybe they can have a bit of the food as well, and take the recipes away. So we want, you know, we don't want it a closed event. We want people to see what's going on. Discussion of human rights, I'm not sure really about that, but I did like the Halea's idea of food being a human right. So I like that connection. So I'm not sure about that, but maybe I might ask if any of the groups that we're involved with, if they have any speakers confident enough maybe to speak about human rights. And I know the City of Sanctuary have a couple of people who want to do some poetry readings, so we'll be doing that as well. And it'll be invited guests, really. It's just so we can keep a tab on numbers. And because we're having a caterer in, she'll need to know how many people she's catering for.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I love how you're thinking about you know, all the workshops and how all the groups are contributing something to the decoration, which then fills the event. But I think it's so lovely, again, thinking about those takeaways that people can have. So the booklet with all the recipes in, I think that's something really special and that'll be really useful for people in the future as well. So it's great to kind of see that whole process that you're going on with it.
Because we were thinking, we have, I don't know if you've heard of BorrowBox, it's a free e-library through libraries, and you can upload your own stuff on there. So we're going to upload that onto BorrowBox, you know, to get out the recipes as a booklet, so get a wider audience for that.
Yeah, I think it's great to be thinking about that kind of physical and digital spaces as well. I know we've all had to get used to, you know, meeting on Zoom and, you know, having to access everything online. So having it where it can be taken away physically and also be a resource online, I think is great to be thinking about as well. Amazing. So I think last but not least is Maggie. Maggie, do you want to share with us about a bit why you want to get involved in one of the feasts?
I don't want to get involved in one of the feasts. Rachel's roped me in. So, I put stuff in the chat box earlier to explain that I'm working with a few. I actually don't know many people in this area. So we're back onto a park. So I'm looking at hosting something, perhaps in my back garden, and then going into the park for a game around or something. I don't know, some kind of a game. I'm not sure about funding for this though. I mean, I'm like a lot of people after I wanted to say Brexit then. After COVID, I'm pretty brasso, so I'm not sure what the situation will be by September. But I've met quite a lot of people just recently because of the Manchester International Festival and working with the Manchester Museum and the Contact Theatre on Bus Pass Explorers. So we might have a few more people involved by then. Sorry, my voice is not up to much in the way of conversations. I actually spread most of the information in the chat box earlier. It's no longer in mine because I've been in and out about 3 times because the connection's so difficult. But if anybody wants more information, it's all in the chat.
That's that. We'll save that for afterwards.
Yeah. I love the idea of a big rounders match. It sounds lots of fun.
Yeah, we'll men can join in, but it will be girls' rules.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for everyone for sharing your feasting plans and all the amazing resources you guys have been putting in the chat. I'm really excited to see it all come together in, well, between now and September. As I know there's some different, it'll be happening, people will be doing the feast throughout the summer as well. And, you know, me and Rachel are in the same boat as all you guys as we're trying to plan our own feast as well at the Old Abbey Tap House in Hulme. So it's just shows the importance of kind of coming together and also sharing all those resources as well. So one of the things I wanted to add is that we'll be updating the toolkit. And so in the toolkit, what we're going to be adding is a guide on how to make the most out of your mobile phone to capture all these amazing activities you guys are doing. So we'll be sending that out to you guys this week. So, you know, Rachel's been making these incredible videos just off her phone using a kind of app. So it's just trying to make it accessible as possible. So we'd really like you guys to think about how, as I know as many of you guys are already, how you can, you know, outreach and also how you can kind of share online as well. So what we wanted to do was send you guys a little mini task where we know you guys have done an incredible job, you know, sharing with us what you're doing with your feast. But now we want you to challenge you guys to make a 1-minute video describing who you are and what your feast is. So what we'll do is we'll send out the July toolkit and we'll see how you guys can use all the tools within that pack to make your 1-minute video. And if you guys are happy to share this as well, we can share it on the Ripples of Hope page, which then we'll tag you all in it so everyone can find your organisations. And if you guys have got an open invite for your feast about how they can get involved with that, or just find out a bit more about what you guys are doing.
And you can use it to do a call out for anything you may need. So if you put what you're looking for, so I think someone was looking for a chef or a catering partner, you can put that in a video and then we can send it to partners that we know might be interested as well.
Great. So I'm just going to pass on to Caroline now, because I know a lot of you guys have been speaking about poetry, so I'm sure you're going to be excited about what Caroline's going to be sharing now as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Caroline and I'm working with the team to bring poetry to the festival. So I've spoken to some of you before, and I've just worked with Charlotte there from Bolton Libraries on the Festival of Libraries, and Shelley from Stockport, and I know that you've all mentioned poetry already. So we've got Simon Armitage, our poet laureate, working with us on the festival, and we've commissioned 30 poets from Greater Manchester, from across the UK, international poets, to respond to one of the articles from the Declaration of Human Rights. So we're going to have 30 poems that are going to be sort of woven through the festival itself over the weekend. But what we really want to do is bring poetry into the feasts as well. So everyone's talked about sort of creative ideas and different ways that we might bring those creative ideas together at a feast. And I suppose I just wanted to have a quick chat here now and put it out there that we could potentially bring some of our poets that are working with us on the festival into your feasts. And we could even work with some of the amazing groups that you've talked about that might be participating in the feasts. And potentially bring those groups together before the festival and get people writing poetry that then might appear at your feast. It might be, I heard an idea that, you know, Paula from Longsight talking about, you know, words and potentially poems in bento boxes, or, you know, table decorations and poetry might appear there, or people themselves at feasts, you know, reading their own work and talking about human rights through poetry. So it's a really lovely opportunity to bring that poetry into the feast and carry that through to the festival. And I think what would be really good to know is, you know, if you think that's something that you're interested in for your feast, and we can maybe look at some digital workshops that might take place with some of our poets before the festival, and look at some of our poets, you know, coming to your feasts and reading their work and working with groups actually, you know, at your feast themselves. So I suppose it's about, you know, the interest that you might have in that for your particular feast. If you could maybe just drop me a note and we can look at those pre-festival workshops and how we bring those together, you know, possibly over the summer or early September to bring those together. We were thinking around those being digital, in a digital space, but we could look at those being physical activities as well, potentially. So, you know, it might be that we work with a group from the library or with a group from Hulme, and we think about how that's going to work as a process and how we can weave poetry through it all. So that would be lovely. So if anybody's interested in poetry, which I know people already are, then it would be great to just drop me a note, and I'll put my email in the chat and we can talk about how we bring that poetry in there. We are looking at working with some of our Greater Manchester poets, so Keisha Thompson and Malika Booker, and potentially Imtiaz Darker, just amazing poets that would bring so much to a feast. And I think it's great as well when we get our participants taking part and writing, and the poets are so good at bringing, you know, those things together. So it would be like donating words to a recipe and it all coming together in a big pot. That's some big, you know, collaborative poem. There's loads of exciting things that poetry can bring to the feasts.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing about that, Caroline, because I know we've started to incorporate poetry into our feast, and it really just adds something really special to it. So we've been working with a local poetry group called the Human Writers Group, and, you know, they've been working with a group of young people we work with, and we made all these benches in these workshops, and we're now going to kind of etch on those words onto the benches, and those benches are then, with all the poetry on them, are then going to be put back into the community. So I think it's really exciting to see all the different creative ways. I know everyone's spoken about banners and bunting and the tablecloths as well. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see what everyone does with those words. I'm imagining Halle with the pie. Can we write a poetry on the pie crust?
I was just about to ask that, actually, kind of like, could we actually hide some poetry inside some secret pies so they become even more exciting?
Oh, it's amazing to hear everyone's, just bursting with ideas. It's really exciting. So, and, with any of these workshops or any of the kind of processes you guys are doing in the lead up to the feast, get your phone out, take a photo or video of it, because you're going to regret not documenting it all afterwards when everything comes together, and you wish you could look back on it. So definitely keep capturing those moments as well. So I just want to, before we finish, I know we've overrun a bit, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out to the group and just have a bit of an open discussion. If there's anything you guys you guys feel like you need a bit more support on, or if you guys would have really enjoyed the meeting tonight, and if you would like to kind of have another touch point, or any kind of other areas you'd like to discuss.
And thank you so much for staying with us throughout this year. I put on events for years, and even I'm finding the thought of being on the feast very challenging, but it's really exciting as well. So thank you for your time and sticking with us and understanding the challenge of doing this coming out of lockdown.
I just want to say this meeting's been particularly good. I've definitely been the one I've enjoyed most, and it's great just seeing how it's kind of gone from like, oh yeah, I think I might want to do this, to really amazingly positive, creative ideas. And the offer from Caroline is fantastic. I'm sure loads of us will be taking you up on that one. So pop your email address in for us and we'll get in contact.
Can I just ask a question? Do we have a list of everyone's names, organizations? And I mean, Josie might have this, but I think it would be amazing. I've tried to jot down names, but I think time to read, and some people have half a name, so I don't think it's been successful.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So in our toolkit, we asked anyone who was happy to put their feast up publicly on the toolkit. So everything's in the toolkit, and I think there's also a map. Shelley, we are getting you on that map as soon as possible. Sorry about that. We've updated it. It just needs to go on the website, but it's got people's contact details. And then also, if you come across any groups who want to get involved, that's the place to kind of send them over to see if maybe there's a venue they could team up with. I've connected with a few more community groups which I can feed in as well. So if anyone needs more participants, please let me know.
Yeah, definitely. So the toolkit's full of amazing resources. That's where we've got all our kind of alternative food networks if anyone needs support there. We've also got all the kind of support on, so for example, the capturing the photographs and making them at your mobile phone, that'll all be in there. How to kind of, add in the buntings and the tablecloths. There's some really great ideas there as well. So that toolkit has a wealth of resources as well, and will be I'll take everyone's links as well and pop those in as well and add them so we don't lose them in this chat as well.
Could I just make one last suggestion, if I may? Could we have a bit like a torch relay, a bit like an Olympic torch relay between the organizations? Or maybe a pie relay, I don't know, whatever we're going to call it. Or some kind of a hope relay. Can we pass the hope from one organization to the next?
Yeah,
we'll give Tokyo a run for its money, hey?
I don't know, I just thought about it because it's like the flame and ripples. I don't know, maybe a jug of water, something, kind of that ripple effect. I want to feel it. Oh, sorry.
A bread yeast, like a bread yeast that gets kept going.
Yeah, we could.
Like the bread
yeast kombucha or something. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
And everyone could get a bit of the yeast to make their own bread with.
Yeah, or actually a poem that keeps, you know, kind of like getting additional words added as it goes around Manchester. But I leave that to Carolyn.
Lovely idea, or a question that you pass on, that you think about and then you pass on and it gets passed around. I think the idea of a poem that gets passed on is really lovely. I think that's a really, really lovely idea. I wanted to, before we disband, I wanted to just remind everyone of the brilliant partnership that Rachel set up with the Kindling Trust and their heritage fruit trees, and that actually that opportunity I think is still there. So if you have some land that you could potentially accept a tree on this autumn, then do get in touch with the Kindling Trust. Their contact details are on the toolkit, and the planting would happen in autumn. But it would be wonderful to just have those as part of the legacy of what we're doing as well, if you have a space that they could work in. They're quite little at this stage, the trees. They're not gargantuan at this point. But thanks so much. It's been amazing to hear all of your plans. Just amazing.
So I've just seen a question from Anne, so asking if we'll be doing any press work around the feast. So I'm helping out with the kind of social media side of things as well. So if there's anything you guys want to send to me, I'll put in my email if you don't already have it into the group chat. So this is where we can share a bit about your works organisation. There's also the opportunity to become one of our Community of Hope partners as well. So the Community of Hope is essentially where we're getting different organisations who in their own way do incredible work to support human rights. So that could be everything from food poverty to kind of LGBTQ rights. It's, you know, there's so many ways that we kind of discuss that, and what we do is we set up this community, and what we're going to do is just share each other's work as a way of kind of spreading that message and that ripple of hope. So I'll send you guys the details as well to get involved in that if you'd like to be part of that Community of Hope. Amazing. Are there any other questions before I'll let you guys get off, whether some of you are watching the football in 15 minutes or you're very hungry and ready for your dinner. Amazing. Great. Well, I think that's everything for today, guys. So thank you so much again for a great session, and we'll be in contact when that updated toolkit is online as well for you guys to all download. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Bye. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
He's waving as well.
Bye. Can see him hiding.
He's hiding. I've just had to tell him his best friend at school's just tested positive on a lateral flow, so I think he's going to be off school now for 2 weeks, or whatever it is again. My daughter's just going back in school tomorrow after having 10 days off.
Nightmare.
So the grandparents coming are useful.
Bless you.
It's everywhere at the moment. I think it's higher than it was last year, COVID.
I think it's a lot higher.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I've had both jobs.
The football's going to do it, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right, well, bye everybody.
Yeah.
Nice to see you all. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.